Hey friends, how's it going? Ash here, welcome back to Gents. Hope that you're doing well, hope that you're staying warm, assuming that you're in the northern hemisphere like me. Has been getting chillier, getting colder. If you're in the southern hemisphere, I guess it's summer right now, so good for you. But if it is indeed getting chilly where you are, today I have 15 clone fragrances that would be perfect for this time of year. We've got fragrances today that are both affordable and obviously smell like something much more expensive. That's the whole point of a clone fragrance, unless I'm missing out on something somewhere. And they also have great performance. They have that compliment factor, pretty much everything you would want. All of these are linked in the description below. Feel free to check them out down there. And also here are a bunch of codes for you that you can use to save money at a bunch of different websites. So again, as of December 1st, the code is GentsDEC, and that runs through December for 10% off Lucky Scent. Also, pay attention to the Triple Traders code because they got a lot of clones there. All right, let's jump into it. No particular order here. I want to start off with a really obvious one, Detour Noir from Al Haramain. This is a clone of Parfums de Marly Layton, and this is typically one of the easier to find Layton clones that's not too expensive, so you get great bang for your buck here. As I've said a bunch of times, the only real drawback with this fragrance is the presentation. It's hideously ugly, and if you do try to wipe the fingerprints off, so you get yourself a little microfiber cloth, you give it a little clean, it removes the name of the fragrance and house on the front there. Cool. But outside of that, the ugly bottle that doesn't have words or letters that stay on the front, the fragrance itself, really well done. So Detour Noir, this one will get you extremely close to Parfums de Marly Layton at a much, much lower price. And it is one of the hype beast clone fragrances, if you want to call it that. It's one of the ones that's gotten a lot of attention, but for good reason. So kicking this off with Detour Noir. From there, let's go to an arm off, Odyssey Ombre. Now, they have been fleshing this line out lately. There have been a lot of Odyssey flankers that have come out here recently. I think I have five new ones that have come out here over the past few months. But this is the original Odyssey Ombre. Now, initially, some people thought that this was a clone of Valentino Uomo Intense, and that it smelled maybe similar to Dior Homme or Dior Homme Intense, but it really does not. Not really at all. I don't know if it was maybe the bottle, like the black bottle, I'm not sure, but this is a clone of Tom Ford's Noir Extreme. Way infinitely closer to Noir Extreme than Valentino Uomo Intense. Now, it's not gonna get you exactly the same as Noir Extreme, but it does get you definitely close enough to be a feasible alternative to that one at a much more affordable price. And I do think, once again, that overall it's very well done. When you spray this on, you don't get hit with a big blast of like alcohol or chemicals or anything like that. You know, it doesn't have that cheap essence to it. So Tom Ford Noir Extreme, right there, Armaf Odyssey Ombre. Then we got one from Fragrance World. It is Ace of Spades. This is a clone of Maison Martin Margiela's By the Fireplace. Now, don't get these confused for any reason. There's also Jack of Clubs, and that is a clone of La Nuit de l'Homme Bleu Electrique. So if you're looking for that fragrance, it's Jack of Clubs. Ace of Spades is By the Fireplace. I think the bottle overall feels pretty good in the hand. The cap does not at all slide snugly into place, so be aware of that. Never try to lift this up by the cap. And it does come with a really nice box as well. It's a nice big box. It has a free deck of cards inside the box as well. Well, I guess free, or you could think of it as factored into the price, but it comes with a deck of cards. And this one is really top of the line. I think this is quite close to By the Fireplace. It really nails that one down. So once again, that warmth, that little bit of like gourmand nuttiness that By the Fireplace has, this has that as well. Little hint of smokiness, not too much. Really, really well done. So Ace of Spades, that is By the Fireplace. Another Fragrance World one up next, Alpha. This one is unique. I mean, you can tell just by looking at it. So I did a haul video where this was part of the haul along with a couple others in this line. And I mean, just take a quick look at this presentation here, this bottle style, and then especially this box style. That looks extremely Raja Parfum-esque, doesn't it? And one of them is actually called Apex in this line. And so it was like, oh, this is definitely Raja Parfum, but it's not. Just wanted to show that for Raja Parfum-esque reasons. Goodbye, box. It's fine, it didn't get hurt. So yeah, the bottle Kind of strange, has a wolf busting out of it right there. A little poltergeist action going on. And it is not a Raja Parfum. It is actually a Tom Ford clone. This is a clone of Ebony Fume, and it's a darn good one. Actually, this whole line, which is 3 fragrances as of right now, is really, really good. But this one especially, for fall and winter time, absolutely perfect. It's gonna give you that woodiness, that kind of dark, lightly smoky woodiness like you find in the Tom Ford, only way more affordable. And on the back it says, Fragrance World, spare no expense. It's good stuff. Next one is from Paris Corner. It's Amir's Wild and Tobacco, which is a clone of Mancera's Red Tobacco, in case you could not tell. It does look a bit obvious, doesn't it? Now, this is an amazing clone of Red Tobacco. Very well done. Not quite as aggressive off the top as Red Tobacco, you know, not quite as much of a punch to the face, but you get that same spiciness, that sweetness, that tobacco underneath everything initially that comes out more as it dries down. The quality here is very good. The only drawback for this one is that Mancera is typically pretty affordable, at least as far as niche fragrances go. I'm not saying they're affordable, like $30 affordable, but you can find Red Tobacco in like the, you know, $75 range, maybe a little bit less, a little bit more, but right in that range. So we'll just say like 75 to 80, 85. That's a pretty good price range, and sometimes it may be a little bit less, but you can find it around that. Now, this is cheaper than that, so it's more affordable than Red Tobacco in terms of the overall price point, but you could make the argument that Mancera is not that expensive, so maybe you just go with the OG, but this does get you darn close for cheap. And it does have great performance as well, as you'd expect. After that one, Fragrance World's Proud of You Absolute. Yeah, this is another one of those deals where they're just telling you straight up what this is. You don't need me to tell you that this is a clone of Stronger With You Absolutely. Just like you don't need me to tell you this is Red Tobacco. Now, if you look at this, or you look at this, or you look at that, or you look at that, you don't know at all, just looking at the bottle, what that is. But these two, you know. The presentation here is nice. I think the bottle looks really close. The cap is nice and heavy as well, so this one definitely does not feel cheap at all in the hand. The fragrance itself is missing maybe a little bit of that warmth from Stronger With You Absolutely. You know, it has the sweetness in there. It has a very similar scent profile, so absolutely you can tell that is Stronger With You Absolutely. It's just Stronger With You has maybe, like I said, a little more warmth to it, a little bit more of that kind of glazed chestnut. But this one in the air is very, very close. So one of those deals where when you smell up close, you can tell, you know, it's close, real close, but maybe not dead on. But then in the air, it's just like, oh yeah, it's Stronger With You Absolutely. So if you're shopping around for Stronger With You Absolutely and it's too much or it's sold out, which happens all the time, this is a fantastic alternative. Now one from Arabiat Prestige, this is Ishitar Amber Vanilla. Take a gander at that. Yeah, that is, that's something. It's actually really cool looking. Has kind of like a metallic flake paint finish, like you would see on a car or something, where every time the light hits it, it reflects. It looks good. And it has this topper here that looks like crystal, but it's actually mirrored glass. And then to top it all off, ooh, it's an awesome atomizer. Now, in case you are unaware of what this is a clone of Instant Crush from Mancera. And there's also this one. This one is called Citrus Oud. This one is a clone of Citra Poisé. These are both just fantastic. So the only drawback with these is that, once again, like with this guy over here, Mancera is not super expensive. But if you wanted an even higher end Mancera alternative, because Paris Corner has a number of them and they're all really well done. But if you wanted something that smelled of higher quality ingredients with a maybe better presentation, it depends on your view, right? Like this one looks closer to what Mancera does. This is definitely its own thing, but I would say between these two, that these look a little higher end in my opinion. Again, that's nothing against Paris Corner. Those are really well done as well. But if you wanted like a step up, you wanted the best Mancera alternatives, I think that's these. This is just goofy good compared to Citra Poisé. It really just nails it. That sweetness, that fruitiness off the top is perfectly done. And then this one, immediately, it's Instant Crush. It does have a little touch of powder to it, but Instant Crush is one of those fragrances that while maybe it leans a little bit feminine for some people, it's just such a compliment puller and has that like sneaky power to it, you know, that sneaky projection where you feel like it's not really projecting and then people pick it up from like a mile away. It's become a favorite of a lot of people, and this one is just so good at emulating that. I'm gonna try to speed it up a little bit. The next one is from Fragrance World once again. It is Posh Alpha. Now, what do you think is the most alpha fragrance out there? What could this be? Because it's not only posh, it is also alpha. This line has a number of clones in it. There's like Posh Omega, Posh Malt. They're all really well done. Posh Alpha though, this is Amouage Rose Incense. Yeah, Rose Incense. I mean, yeah, I guess that could be alpha, right? That's why it has this color scheme to it, this coloration. But I will say this is expertly done. If you're familiar with Rose Incense, the second you smell this, you'll know what it is. It has that kind of like old house, old store woodiness to it as well, the way that incense kind of comes across with the rose off the top. If you have ever been into an old, I don't know, antique store, an old closet, things like that, you know the scent profile, and that's what you get here. And I realize when I say that probably doesn't sound like the greatest thing, but it's addictive. So Amouage Rose Incense, Posh Alpha is the alternative for that. All right, really obvious one here, Jean Lo's Ombre. This is Ombre Nomad from Louis Vuitton. Not a surprise, I mean, it's the same bottle style and everything. It's like some of these others where they just directly emulate what they're cloning as far as the presentation goes and the fragrance itself. And this is, of course, by Maison Alhambra. This Jean Lo line is great at Louis Vuitton alternatives. I mean, that's what they are, they're Louis Vuitton. But all of them are really well done. Ombre Nomad, probably, well, maybe not the most popular, but one of the most popular from Louis Vuitton. And this is pretty much the go-to as far as like the first Ombre Nomad alternative that people are gonna bring up. And they do give you the magnetic cap. So if you want Ombre Nomad on the cheap, this is a great place to start. Afnan is up next with Tobacco Rush. Look at that. Look at that bottle. Just all golded out, just all pimped out with gold. And then it has a nice magnetic cap too. Ooh, me gusta. So this one is an alternative to Carolina Herrera's Mystery Tobacco. Just goofy good. Yeah, just really, 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 really nice. Tobacco, spices, it has a nice warmth to it, not too much sweetness, just a little bit. Very classy, sexy, just top-notch stuff. If you like tobacco scents, you gotta check this out. If you can, I mean, check out the Herrera, but I mean, if you can't, this'll do. Also, Maison Alhambra's Exclusive Tobacco. That's a very good alternative to the Herrera also. All right, let's get a little more obvious with Renight Parfum from Fragrance World. Renight. It's almost like Renfield, like Dracula's little helper. But no, it's Renight. So this is Fahrenheit Le Parfum. Again, just extremely obvious. They legitimately just took the fa off the front of the name and they were like, good enough. That's all we need to do here. Copy everything else. Can't wait for their Dior Avage elixir. That should be really good. You don't understand, it's Avage. It's not even the same thing. It's not even close to the same thing, guys. You can't be mad at me for copying you. I'm completely original here. Now, I do think Renight Parfum is closer to Fahrenheit Le Parfum than Proud of You Absolute is to Stronger with You Absolutely. And again, Proud of You is good, but right up close, you can tell there are differences. Renight gets a lot closer to Fahrenheit Le Parfum, where when you smell this, it doesn't have like something where you go, oh, there's a little bit of a, misbalance compared to the original. You could say maybe that there's less of the petrol kind of accord, that gasoline type feel with this one, and that it has a little more sweetness to it, but that's about it. It's got great quality. It's an obvious dupe, but it's well done. Now this next one I've been bringing up a bit lately as a wonderful alternative to Angel Share, and there are a bunch of them out there, and frankly, most of them are really well done. I don't know that there has been an Angel Share clone that I've smelled that's come out over the past, year or a little over a year that I've thought was bad. Where I've smelled it and thought, oh, they just completely whiffed. Most of them have been at least good. This one is very good. It is from Zamaya and it's Sharaf Blend, or it's technically Sharaf Blend by Zamaya, which is Afnan. So the presentation on this, just looks fantastic. I think the best looking of all of the Angel Share alternatives, really looks good. And then the fragrance itself is just as good. Really warm and sweet. I've said this before, but it has the addition of dates in there. Kind of gives it a little twist over the original Angel Share, but a welcome one. Just amazing quality. And I would say if you're starting off, you know, you have no alternatives to Angel Share, none of them at all. Kamra, of course, by Lattafa. And then this one probably would start there. And then actually Arabiat Prestige has a really good one called Ari's Intense, but I think I'd probably start with those. Up next, we have Enigma Un. This is from Fragrance World. That is a clone of Sauvage Elixir. There is also Lattafa's Assad, which is a good clone of Sauvage Elixir as well. Depending on what you like, you know, one of those will work better for you than the other. I think that Assad is a little bit sweeter, you know, just a tinge more vanilla to it. This stays a little closer to Sauvage Elixir directly. So it's gonna be a little bit more woody, a little more spicy. The differences are not night and day. You know, if you compare this to Assad, it's not like they're drastically, humongously different, but you know, there are little differences here and there. So Sauvage Elixir right there. Just trying to hurry here, I'm sorry, because I end up talking too long. I just go on these tangents. And then like when I watch the video back, I'm like, oh, it was that long, huh? Yeah, I should have shut up, like right now. Up next, we have Zafiro Collection Crafted Oud from Maison Alhambra. Another one of those, oh, I see what you did there, clones. This is Carved Oud by Thameen. Obviously, same kind of scheme going on here with the bottle and everything. Yeah. Carved Oud has been compared to Oud Wood from Tom Ford. So, you know, it's kind of in that style. If you're familiar with Oud Wood, this is a little bit like that. So you get that very nice dark woodiness with that spice kind of popping right off the top. You know, it has a faint tinge of medicinal oudiness to it, but not enough to make it difficult to wear at all, in my opinion. A nice classiness to it, very sexy. It has a really nice kind of smooth edge to it as well. You know, it's not rough or anything like that when you first spray it on. It's just right from the get-go, pretty easygoing, all things considered with it being an oud fragrance. Really well done in my opinion. And then the last one is from Paris Corner, Amir Paris Corner. And it is this one, Vibrant Spicy Tobacco. Now, taking a look at that bottle, you would probably think that it is a Byredo clone, and you would be correct. It is a Byredo clone. It's a clone of Tobacco Mandarin. So Vibrant Spicy Tobacco is Tobacco Mandarin. And actually Paris Corner has a number of different Byredo clones that come in bottles similar to this one. So yeah, if you want Byredo clones in general, I guess check out Paris Corner and see if they have made one of the fragrance that you're looking for a clone of. Now, this tobacco fragrance is not going to be for everybody. I will say that. It has a good dose of spiciness to it, but in Tobacco Mandarin, cumin is heavily used. You get kind of that vibe here as well. And while the original is called Tobacco Mandarin, and certainly there is that kind of mandarin orange in the opening, and you get a little bit of that here, it's not really a huge focal point of the fragrance. More spices, tobacco, kind of leather in there, and some resins, you know, a little smokiness to it. So do be aware that, like I said, it's not going to be for everybody, but it does give you a really nice alternative to the more typical, like honeyed pipe tobacco fragrances that are out there. And I myself do find it pretty wearable. I think it smells really nice. So there we go. There are 15, technically 16, I guess, because I brought that one in, but 15 different fragrances that are perfect for wintertime. Most all of these really affordable as well. Some of them are a little easier to find at discounters than others, but if you search these up, if they're not at like the typical places you buy, you'll still be able to find them. So there we go, guys. Thank you for hanging with me. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys later.